Good morning, folks. Welcome to We Are the Game. Today, we're going to do our inaugural kind of sort of test episode, I guess you could say, of a new segment we want to do called Grade My Crazy, where we put out an idea that we don't necessarily believe is, oh, yeah, I've got a hot take on this, or even I'm sure this is going to happen and everyone else is sleeping on it, but more just the idea is I think there's a thread of a possibility that this could happen. Let's follow that thread and see what needs to happen. And then you tell me how crazy it is that this would actually happen. For our grading scale, we're kind of use like A through F with pluses and minuses optional. A being the more crazy, like certified, yep, you're going straight to the loony bin. And F being, yeah, of course that's going to happen. So here we go, without further ado. So I'll get us started off. Michael, tell me what you think here. Last year, Jamar Chase won the Triple Crown of wide receivers, which is he led the league in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. This has only happened 6 times now total, I believe, or maybe it was six more times, but it's very rare. My crazy take is he will repeat the Triple Crown in 2025, being probably the first one ever. So, that being said, grade my crazy.
Wow, that's intriguing. I like this one. Well, it's definitely not unheard of crazy, right? Like, is it possible that Joe Burrow can find this crazy athlete over and over all season? Absolutely. I don't think he picked up any major injuries, so I could definitely see that still working well. I think they got a little bit better on offense, but I wonder if that means they spread the ball around more. So if I had to think on this one and pick it, I think I would say this is I think this is possible. I don't think it's super possible. Like you said, it's only happened 6 times. I'm going to say this is a C. I think this is feasible, but unlikely, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'll give that one a C. I'll give that one a C. Not overly crazy, but definitely possible. All right. Okay, here's one right back to you then. Okay. Cleveland Browns, given their success and their challenges, take a quarterback in the first or second round of the 2026 draft to add to their 36 current quarterbacks on their roster.
I think that, honestly, right now that's probably on the lower end. I mean, I'm probably calling that like a D. They traded back this year from 2 to 5 and scooped up an extra first rounder for next year. They're probably not going to be good this year. And then the team they traded with is Jacksonville, who I have serious doubts about. Now, I don't think either one of those teams is the first overall pick, although the Browns were the second this year. I don't know that either one of them are the first next year, but both of them could be top 10. So they have the ammunition to either draft a guy if they really like a quarterback up high, or trade both of those picks and move up and get the best guy. So it would be it's A plus crazy in that the sense of once again here all the Browns quarterbacks, like it's A plus crazy there. But as far as the unlikelihood, I actually feel like personally, as soon as they traded back in the first round, I think that's like a D crazy. I think that's almost certainly going to happen unless one of the 2 quarterbacks that they drafted this year turns into a guy. So I'm not. You can keep the straitjacket away from you for now because that you're doing good. You're doing good.
That's good.
So, all right, here we go. Now, last night we kind of talked to each other about this idea of doing this show, and I suggested a crazy idea, and that idea was the Giants will somehow make the playoffs. Well, and just in case you like prepared for that somewhere in your head, I'm gonna flip it on you. So. Okay. The NFC East has a crazy difficult schedule this year. You're playing the NFC North, which is all good. You're playing the AFC West, which is all good. And your own division tends to beat each other up. So my crazy take is the NFC East only has 1 team in the playoffs in the 2025 season. I'm not going to say which one, but we all know which one probably going to be.
Yeah. No, let's see. Let me think about that for a second. how crazy do I think it is that they would only have one? Man, based off of this last year and the potential for, not even a big backslide, but just a moderate one for the Commanders, it would be pretty rational, I think, to say, hey, I think that could happen. But at the same time, I think a lot of the things with Dallas are going to work themselves out. And it could be totally possible that Washington doesn't have a backslide. Instead of a sophomore slump, they have a natural progression. So, man, you're going to keep putting me in this spot where it's like right in the middle of what I think is crazy and what I think is not. It is a tough schedule. It is a tough schedule for sure. And I think it'll be a really exciting season overall with that. Man, I'm going to end up right at the C again. We'll call this one a C minus. I think that I think it's definitely possible that, as you're alluding to, the Eagles could end up being that team going in, but Lord knows that's not what I'm rooting for. So we'll see. But no, I think that that's feasible. But I would be surprised, but not shocked. Let's put it that way. So slightly crazy, but not overly. All right, let's see. Next one for you. Okay, just because you were picking on them earlier, how about the Jacksonville Jaguars win the AFC South now that Trevor Lawrence is back and supposedly healthy again? And they've got some new wide receiver depth with some exciting moves, right? Doug Peterson's still around. They've got a lot of the same things going. They make a huge turn and take off.
Well, there are some huge questions there. Like, how are they going to use Travis Hunter? Is it going to be 100-100 offense and defense? Is it going to be 70-30? What are they going to do here? So, off the top of my head, I'll say that that's at least a B crazy because of how much they have to get over. Similarly, I don't know the AFC South's full list of opponents, but the rest of their division, it's kind of like yours in some ways where it plays itself rather tough. Always just beat each other up. That's why you hardly ever get like a 14-win team down there. It has happened, but I don't know that it's happened much since Peyton left.
Right.
So I'll give you like a B here is the short version. Extrapolating on that, I still think the Texans are going to be in the way, even though they did some somewhat puzzling moves in the offseason with letting Laramie Tunsil go and so on. Indianapolis has huge questions, but I don't think that they're going to be bad on any version of them. Now, the Titans, they're probably going to be bad, but at least for another season. So I'm hoping Cam surprised me. But yeah, I'm going to give you a B on this one. So yeah, so now we both kind of have a C average, I feel like, but you've done it the more interesting way. You're just so used to my crazy over the 40 years of being around each other, like, that's pretty normal for Luke. Just see, so okay, I gotta step this up a notch. So
all right.
No, I don't know about that. Okay,
too crazy
picking between here. So okay, I'll go with this one.
Okay.
I've mentioned this storyline to you before. So if I was telling you the story of, okay, hey, this team lost a bunch of defensive players going into the season and one big-time offensive playmaker. They have a really good coach and a great quarterback, and they've still got some other stuff going on. But because of the loss of all these veterans, I'm going to say they're going to take a step back. Now, most teams are going to assume I'm talking about the San Francisco 49ers, but I'm actually talking about the Buffalo Bills in the 2024 season, because that's exactly what I said. And a lot of people said, well, they won 13 or 14 games, I believe, and we're pretty close to beating the Chiefs in the playoffs. So I actually am referring to the Niners because that's what everyone is saying now. Now, I'd take Josh Allen over Brock Purdy every day of the week, but denial being pretty strong in this Cardinals fan, he is a good quarterback. So that all being said, I'm going to try to change my doubting ways and just trust that that organization really is great at bringing in new talent. And with that all being said, the San Francisco 49ers will win the NFC West.
Okay. NFC West. Okay, yeah. Let's see. What would really need to take place for that? Obviously, some health stuff, right? I mean, I'm still amazed at how they had a running game last year. They got like with McCaffrey out, was it Mason was in and out, and so like they had a lot of stuff go wrong, and just every next guy up just came and went, like kind of like to your point. Seahawks are a question mark now because they've had some massive turnover. The Rams look like they're this weird rebuilding but not rebuilding. I think the Cardinals have made a step forward, but that's all going to be hinged on Kyler. So I don't know. That's a very interesting possibility.
If you give me a C, my internet's going to.
I'm not going to give you a C. Nope, not going to be a C. I'm just trying to decide how crazy I think it is. I think I still don't think I see it unless like McCaffrey turns into Saquon Barkley this year, which he kind of has done in his own way over his career. I just don't know that he has it in him anymore. But again, I didn't think Saquon did. I'm going to give you a B on this one. I don't see it happening. I think they've got some good things. I've never really understood exactly what they were doing with their receiver core. So I'm still curious how they're working that out. And I think that meant they ran on their running game. And now I don't know what's going on with that either. So I think there's a lot of question marks on offense. How long can George Kittle be as productive as he has been? And can you lean on him as well? Yeah, I could see that. I don't know that I believe they'll win the West. I could see them taking a little bit of a step forward and being more of a 500 team. We'll see. But I think that's a B. I think that's a B. All right, let me throw another one at you here. Bryce Young ends the season with 4,000 yards passing and 30 touchdowns. He's got kind of an offensive-minded coach, for whatever that's worth. He has some new tools. He has a relationship with Thielen and all that. So we'll see how that all plays out with that wide receiver core that I think he's meshed with a little bit, hopefully. I think their O-line's a little bit better, and it'll be interesting to see his sophomore experience, whether that's a boom or bust, but I'm voting for boom. What do you think about that?
So that was 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. Now, is that 30 passing touchdowns, just to be clear?
Yeah, let's call it passing. Yeah, because you're right. He's a dual threat. So let's call it just passing. Just passing.
Either way, I think it's a little bit crazy. I do like what they've added. I have seen there have been glimpses, like he'll have a 5-game stretch where, wow, he can pass the ball. If you protect him, he can pick a defense apart. And that's with guys like what's left of Adam Thielen out there. And everyone likes Adam Thielen, but he old. Now they've got Tedderall and McMillan. They've got the guys. I've got some buddies here who are Panthers fans. With Xavier Legette, he's not supposed to be a 1. He's supposed to be your take the top off option, catch him open in space kind of thing. And now he can be that because hopefully Tedderall and McMillan will walk in the door and be your outside guy, just your big target that demands a lot of attention. So, this is another B for you though. They have a tough schedule this year, and while he has had stretches, he has not even none of those stretches have been like 10 games or 8 games even, I would say. But he'll get like a 5-game, 6-game stretch of man, that's a pretty good, dangerous quarterback, and he'll contend with teams that he has no business contending with at that time. I will say they still have kind of a rough-looking defense, and oddly enough, that could work in this idea's favor because if they're constantly chasing points, then that will help. So I'm only going to give you like a B- here because I do think that that's something that could happen, but until it happens, it's like so many others. I'm not going to believe it when I see it. So I'll give you a B- on that one, and then we'll see. It'd be fun to see. But unless it's the Cardinals, I want him to have 6 interceptions against the Cardinals.
Yeah, on that game, yeah, I understand.
But yeah. So that all being said, we'll wrap this up for now. To anyone who's interested, let us know what you think down in the comments. We appreciate any clicky things you feel like doing with subscribes and likes and such. Let us know how crazy we are or aren't, and give us some. Maybe shoot us back some crazy ideas in return. We love getting into wacky scenarios. So. We will see you all next week at some point, and we'll have some more fun ideas. So until then, Have a great day.